It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Hello and welcome to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are talking with the Friends of the Verde River. With us today, we have Laura Jones, who is the Community Engagement Coordinator, and Isaac Dudley, who is the Business Development Coordinator, and they have joined us to talk about Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. That's the website. Great website. Check it out. Lots of stuff going on there. Everything you need to know about the Friends of the Verde River is on verderiver.org. Laura, thank you for being here. Isaac, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Busy time of year for you guys, isn't it, with spring rolling out?
It is. We are, start into our event season, and people are getting on the river more, and we're getting more traffic and more visitors who want to know about the river, so it becomes the busy time of year, yeah.
Well, that's great. So tell us a little bit about the Friends of the Verde River. Who are you and what do you do?
So we're a nonprofit 501c3. We're here in Cottonwood. We've just celebrated our 10th anniversary this past winter. And we've been working to preserve the Verde River. That's sort of the short answer. And we do that by engaging the community in several different programs. So we really work to restore habitat, which means what we want the river to be and the habitat around the river to be healthy for wildlife, for human, for us to use the river. So that's part of it. We want to sustain its flows, which means we want to make sure that we're really keeping the river flowing at a healthy level. And that, again, is for those of us who want to recreate on the river, but it's really for the wildlife, the fish, invertebrates, all the things that use the river. And so we have a program for that, the Verde River Exchange. And then we really want to promote community stewardship. So we want our community to be involved. And that's really what we want to talk about today here. And there's lots of different ways that the community gets involved in the things that we do to preserve the river.
Well, certainly, and it runs right through everyone's home here, basically. The entire Verde Valley surrounds it, so it's incredibly important. And I don't think that most people acknowledge its presence. What do you think?
I think sometimes it's a mystery that there's a river here.
I know. How is that possible?
I joke, I lived in Clarkdale for 2 years before I knew where the river was, but a lot's changed in the last 10 years. Just simple things like signage on where river access points are so people can access the river without trespassing on private land. That's a big change. And like you said, the river, the Verde is one of the last perennial running rivers in the state of Arizona, which means it runs year-round. It's mostly spring-fed above Sycamore Creek. So all the way from the headwaters outside of Paulden, it's really springs and groundwater that are feeding the river. And then once it gets to Sycamore Creek, it gets some flow in from there, and as it comes down. But it really is a groundwater-fed system, and the rain and all of that helps. But really, the groundwater is what makes the river flow. And then once it flows through the valley here, it provides agriculture for crops. It's obviously for recreation. It's for our wildlife, and then ultimately, it provides drinking water for about 2 million people in Phoenix.
Right. That is amazing to think of that. The river that's running through our backyard is providing water to Phoenix for drinking.
Yes.
And Phoenix is pretty clear to point that out.
Yeah, no.
It's a lot.
And it is an important thing. But it's also important just for us here in the Valley. It really is what brings the quality of life here. We wouldn't be the Verde Valley without the river.
That's right. Yeah. That was my next question, is where would we be without the river?
I'm not sure. I think obviously all the lush cottonwoods, the vegetation that we all love, and this time of year you get to watch it turn green. It's really fabulous. Every morning as I come through Clarkdale, I can look down to the river and it gets greener and greener and greener. It wouldn't have that quality. The wildlife that we have wouldn't be here. Again, the irrigation that we use for crops and that, which is really a big part of the valley's economy, that would be limited. So that river really serves a lot of purposes.
Absolutely. You mentioned earlier that one of the jobs of the Friends of the Verde River is to keep the river healthy and the area around the river healthy. What does that mean? What does that look like?
It means we want to make sure we have as much native vegetation as possible. We want to make sure that there's limited runoff into the river so it's not getting filled with silt and debris. We want to make sure garbage is not, floating down the river. And we want to make sure that the water quality is healthy as well. So we have lots of partners who do work around water quality, and so there's a lot of things that go into making sure that the river is healthy.
Sure.
And making sure it has a base flow. So making sure that even at the driest time of year, there's still water in the river.
And that, Laura, how do you do that? How do you have any control over that, the flow of the river?
Well, we're working with partners around groundwater pumping issues and trying to offset some of those with the Verde River Exchange program. So that's part of what we're doing. And, really just making people aware of, how their irrigation impacts the river. The Nature Conservancy does a lot of work with on-farm efficiencies to make sure irrigation ditches and stuff in the community are working right. So there's water staying in the river while there's water getting to agriculture. So there's a lot of partnerships going on.
That definitely sounds like it. Now, how have you, Friends of the Verde River has been around for 10 years now. What kind of changes have you seen? Just in the past 2, let's narrow it down.
We see kayaks on cars.
Yes.
That's one of the things that we see. We see kayaks on cars. And, way before I got involved with this, there were folks who'd been doing boating and doing stuff for the river. And one of the things they said is, we'll know that people are really starting to engage with the river when we start to see kayaks on cars. And so I'm still surprised when I drive through Old Town and see a vehicle that I don't recognize and it's got a few kayaks on top or they're stacked in the back, because it means that more of us in the community are really engaging with the river, and that there are people that are coming from other areas to engage in the river. And the more people engage with the river, the more committed they're going to be to preserving it and making sure it continues to flow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Isaac, you grew up in this area, is that correct?
That is.
That is. And how do you engage in the river?
Well, for a lot of us that have grown up around here, I feel like it's an important resource for, like Laura mentioned, recreation, beauty, and really a sense of identity. It kind of defines us, I feel like. After having left the community for a little while to get educated up at NAU, now being back, it feels like even more of a part of me. And I love recreating on the river. I've got a canoe, an inflatable, a kayak, and we try to get out there as much as possible. And so, yeah, it's just a really important part of identity, I feel like, and it's very much tied in with our community.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we are the Verde Valley, and it is the Verde River. I mean, we kind of share our names and, mix it up. But yes, tourism has grown exponentially just in the past couple of years. Are we seeing any sort of negative impact with that? Or is it that the awareness is increasing so much it's actually a positive benefit? What do you think, Laura?
I think it's been positive. I do think there's a real consciousness around the valley to make sure that we're not overutilizing the resource, that there aren't too many people recreating. That's a balancing act. But there's really a lot of work being done on a regional effort. There's a collaboration called the Verde Front, which works to look at recreational aspects of the river. So they're looking at trails. They're building a master recreation plan for the area. And part of it is how to help people not only use a resource, but to use a resource effectively. And so, again, the signage about river access points, the paddle guides on our website are some of the most visited things on our website. So we want to help people know where can they go safely. And actually, the stretches of the river where people are recreating are some of the cleanest stretches of the river.
Oh, excellent. That's great to hear. Well, we're going to take a short break. Check out verderiver.org. We're talking about the Friends of the Verde River today. We're talking with Laura Jones, Community Engagement Coordinator, and Isaac Dudley, Business Development Coordinator. We'll be right back with more Countywide, so don't go away.
It appears these hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool. Oh, yeah. Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires. Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you'll go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. We're talking with Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. Awesome website. Make sure you go there, verderiver.org. We're talking with Laura Jones, Community Engagement Coordinator, and Isaac Dudley, who is the Business Development Coordinator. We're talking, of course, about the Verde River, how important it is to us. A word that we hear a lot right now, seems to be a buzzword, is stewardship. That's a huge word right now. And what does that mean to the Verde River, Laura?
It means that we want the community to be involved in the activities and that we're involved in to help preserve the river. And we want to promote really activities that are related to the river and the habitat for the river. Mm-hmm. So for example, two Saturdays ago, March 17th, we had the Verde River Runoff, which was a kayak race in Camp Verde. We had 143 registered boaters. Wow. So from people in hardshell kayaks, inflatable kayaks, stand-up paddleboards, which is a up-and-coming really thing, and they did a 10-mile race and then a fun float for 5 miles. So that was a great way to get people on the river. And not only local folks, but tons of folks came up from Phoenix. People came from New Mexico and Colorado to participate in it. So again, it's just a way to promote the region and for people to get committed and have an experience on the river. Mm-hmm. We have the Verde Valley Birding and Nature Festival that's coming up. April 26th through 29th. And again, hundreds of birders come from around the country to come to the Verde Valley to experience birding and the spring migration here. And again, what makes that possible is the habitat that's all along the river. Mm-hmm. So we have over 70 workshops and field trips with professional guides. There's a family nature festival on the 28th, which we really want folks to come out and bring your kids. Chance to learn about birding and nature and really experience that. There's a wonderful display of live birds that is really, if you haven't seen it, come and see it. It's really terrific. And there'll be an e-birding workshop that we're really promoting for locals so we all can get involved in this activity that people travel from all over to do here in the valley. So there's a lot of things that we do that in that festival for people to see. And then we're doing a ton of volunteer opportunities. We have a native grass project where we're having people help us develop those plots to grow native grasses. We have river cleanups. We have all kinds of things. So there's all those kinds of opportunities on our website as well.
Wow. So it sounds to me like you're fostering a sense of responsibility and ownership in the local residents to care for the Verde and educating them in how it actually affects their lives and how important it is.
And one of the things I want to say about the River Runoff and the Birding and Nature Festival, those are really run by volunteers. You know, I'm a staff person, who's got lots of things to do, and I work with these committees, but it's really these wonderful committees of people that are committed to the activity and that are committed to really showing what we've got here in the Valley and why it's so important.
Sure. And what does a typical volunteer do for you guys?
Oh, they can do anything from, helping weed our native plant garden to being on a committee to put on the festival or the river runoff, or we have safety boaters who are volunteers. We have photographers who are volunteers. So there's really a wide array of things that people get to do with us.
Excellent. If they want to volunteer, can they find out how through verderiver.org? Should they go to the website?
Yep, they can go to the website and there's a form that you can fill out, or my phone number or contact is there. They can contact me. Yeah, we'd love to have we've got great opportunities for people.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
Now, Isaac, as far as the business end of the Friends of the Verde River, what does your job entail?
Right. So, you know, sort of in a way, a lot of the same things as Laura does, you know, getting people involved. Specifically, I focus on business outreach. So I run the program One For the Verde, and basically what that program does is it pulls together the collective resources of our network of conservation business partners. And so that enables us to raise money for conservation projects across the Verde watershed. So we interact with businesses on a lot of different levels. One way that people can get involved and they don't have to maybe volunteer for something or go do a cleanup project, etc., would be the Thirsty Thursday that we hold at the State Bar every second Thursday. And that's just one way that businesses collaborate with us. And so that's a monthly event. And during their happy hour, $1 from every drink goes to support these projects.
Really?
So it's stuff like that. We also work with the wineries and the vineyards around town, and they'll donate proceeds from Arizona wines and stuff like that. So just simply by living your everyday life, you know, going out and doing the things you love, you can support these projects and get involved. So stewardship can be, you know, very boots on the ground, or it can just be, you know, just a slight consciousness of my money is affecting these programs, you know, so it's just opening up that awareness a little bit. Last year, the program was able to raise over $13,000, which is pretty phenomenal, I feel like. This is my first year with the program. I'm pretty new here. But so all of that money went back into the community in the form of grants, which offers us really cool ways to get involved with other nonprofits like the Oak Creek Watershed Council. They've got an event, the Oak Creek Water Quality Field Day, coming up at the end of April, which we were fortunate enough to be able to fund this year through our grant process. And so basically what that is about is it focuses on students between 5 and 12 in the Verde Valley and Sedona, and it teaches them all about water quality. So from how to test water quality, learning about indicator species, and just general water health. So I feel like that's pretty important. It educates the next generation of youth about, you know, how to sustain these natural resources that we have. Some of the other projects that we've got going on is spring water analysis, which gives us a look into the health of the water that feeds our waterways. We're expanding a signage program, or a sign system at the Riverfront Park Trailhead, which is cool. And one really exciting project is water sampling by drone, which opens up a whole new level of water quality sampling, I feel like, because it opens up access to places that would normally be really hard to get to. It lowers the amount of labor necessary to do these projects. All really good stuff. And so in order to make these happen, we work directly with our network of conservation partners. And so these are local businesses, like I was mentioning, the State Bar, Chef Wayne's Creations in Cornville, Thanks a Latte, you know, the coffee shops do like a specialty drink. And it's a really cool way to just use the unique strengths of the businesses around the area to make something really cool happen.
Well, that's neat. I have heard of One for the Verde program, and I've always wondered what that meant, although I knew that it involved businesses. So really, you've got options of, I love how you say boots on the ground. You can get your hands dirty or wet, as it may be, or you could simply figure out a way to slide a little donation in here and there or be part of the One for the Verde program. The State Bar is in Clarkdale?
It's in Old Town.
It's in Old Town. Excellent. Thirsty Thursdays, $1 from each drink during happy hour goes to Friends of the Verde River.
Every second Thursday.
Every second Thursday. Well, that's an excellent program.
Yeah, we got one coming up.
Hour. Yeah, oh my gosh, check that out. Is that on verderiver.org too?
It is, and our Facebook page.
And your Facebook page. That's fantastic. Well, sounds like you're really into it the first year of your work here. You're really going for it.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I was volunteering my time at a conservation group in Flagstaff for the last year, and so now making the transition down here, it really feels like an awesome way to get involved.
Oh, I bet. Awesome. We're going to take another quick break. We're talking about the Friends of the Verde River. Check out verderiver.org. We're with Laura Jones and Isaac Dudley. We'll be right back with Countywide, so don't go away.
Marlowe, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Ah, Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Countywide. I'm your host, Jen Cohen. Just a few seconds left. VerdeRiver.org. Check it out. Friends of the Verde River. We're talking with Laura Jones, the Community Engagement Coordinator, and Isaac Dudley, the Business Development Coordinator. You guys are absolutely awesome. Now, we were talking money. We were talking about how we support Friends of the Verde River. Something very important is coming up, Laura. AZ Gives Day.
Arizona Gives Day is April 3rd, so it's a week from today. It's a statewide initiative to support local nonprofits. So one of the ways that you can support us is you can go on our website or go to the AZ Gives website and make a donation. Or we also have a happy hour, and our Arizona Gives Day headquarters is at Riot in Old Town. From 4 to 9, we're going to have music and entertainment and other kinds of fun stuff. If you like stickers, come out. We always have good stickers.
Good stickers. And this is April 3rd.
This is April 3rd, and it's a statewide initiative to really support local nonprofits. So we recommend people support the folks in the community that support their lives.
Absolutely. Something close to your heart, close to your home, the Verde River. Fabulous. Now, Isaac, you were mentioning that you're expanding projects. That's one of your goals now. How are you doing that?
Well, first of all, right now we're in the middle of a business survey, so we're trying to collect a bunch of data from our conservation partners just to get a feel of the experience that they've had so far and to try to bring the program to the next level. So to do that, we're incorporating multimedia, photography and video mostly, to expand both our presence online and give our partners a tool to market themselves and the collaboration with our nonprofit.
Well, excellent. You know, if you think nonprofit, you don't think marketing is so important. Marketing is huge.
Yeah.
It's incredibly huge with nonprofits. You know, you've got to have money coming in from somewhere. So there's many, many ways to get involved with Friends of the Verde River. You can volunteer. You can attend one of the amazing events. You can go to Thirsty Thursdays. You can be part of Arizona Gives Day. You can give them a call and say, hey, I want to give you money. No. Yes, you could do that. Absolutely, right? Check out VerdeRiver.org. Great website, lots of information. Everything you need is going to be on there. Link to the AZ Gives Day website. Link to all the things that they're going to be doing and ways that you can help and what's happening with the river. Make sure you check out VerdeRiver.org, Friends of the River. Laura, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your input. Isaac, thank you for what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Keep going. Year one is a success. I can see it. Awesome. So check out VerdeRiver.org. That's all the time we have for Countywide. I'm Jen Cohen. I'll see you next time.